Hello, and welcome to the second episode in my series on the game Dwarfs on Steam. If you saw the last episode, I played a short match of 5-minute arcade mode, which I actually didn't make it all the way through, which is pretty embarrassing. So this episode I decided I would start out showing you actually the basics of the game now that you've seen what the gameplay fully looks like. Go back to the beginning and show you the tutorial. So in this episode I'm going to do just some basic tutorial levels, and depending on how long it takes will determine how far into the tutorial I get. So this first episode of the tutorial will show you about the controls, and you can see there's a rather large dwarf who sort of is your guide through the game, and he tells you the basics about how the game works. So basic controls, camera movements, how to direct your dwarfs where to go. So for example, right now the mission, which is not that difficult, is simply to click on the dwarf and drag a line to these minerals. When the dwarf reaches the minerals, he'll mine them and earn some gold and some points for us, but also complete the mission for us. So I'm holding down S, which actually speeds up the mission right now. And there you go. That's the first part of the tutorial. Very simple, basic controls. So I'll move on to the next section, which is going to introduce us to, I believe, lava and water, which are, you know, the sort of fluid dynamics of the game, and some of the biggest perils. What can happen is if a dwarf taps into water like this, a cave that's filled with water, the water will actually rush down towards your base and can kill your base, which is not good. So you build a wall there to prevent them from the water from going on. However, well, I'll get back to that in a second. First, there's lava. Lava is fairly similar to water, except it moves slower, and unlike water, it actually will burn through walls over time. So I'm going to place dynamite here, which right now the guide dwarf will tell us to do. And this dynamite here, I can simply send a mining dwarf to destroy this, to set off this dynamite, which will make a decent hole in the ground, which once the lava burns through these two walls will actually fall into and flow through the hole, preventing it from spreading any further. So that's sort of the basics of lava and water. And there's a little more to it though than just that, because the dwarves themselves are a little dumb at times, and as a result they'll actually dig right through here. But what you can do is, by holding control and clicking, you can solidify the dirt around these pockets that you know are full of dangerous water or lava. Doing so, if you completely encircle the area, you'll actually be able to turn it off completely. It's called cave trapping. And it's actually a very important part of the game later on. So now in this level there's going to be two caves. I'm speeding things up just so you can see how the dwarves kind of, when they're not directed by you to do something, will behave on their own. And so occasionally they'll find minerals, and once they find a vein of minerals they will mine it for themselves. But otherwise they kind of wander really without much purpose. You can see this one just ran straight to the end of the map because they have no way of knowing, for example, where the minerals and caves are unless you direct them towards those. Now this one's about to hit a cave, which could be bad. Oh, no, it's very good. It's a treasure cave, which you can see is giving us hundreds of gold for essentially no effort. So now all of the dwarves are just kind of piddling about in the top half of the map, which is actually probably good for me because, as you can see, my gold levels have risen largely. On the more negative aspect, though, this other cave, which is necessary to move the mission on, is being completely ignored, and as such, I'm going to slow things down for just a second and tell this dwarf to just cut to the chase, come straight down here, and dig into this cave and see what terrible danger awaits. And it's lava. So, again, we'll do the same thing we did before. Put down some dynamite, build some walls, and also trap the cave in. Given that I have a lot of gold, I'm going to kind of sloppily build a very